what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Charleston Cycles. The last race for the Lowcountry Racing Summer Criterium Series. This is the fourth race in the series. It's been a great summer. Big shout out to Lowcountry Racing, D'Alessandro's Pizza, all those guys. Really appreciate just the opportunity to have some really good racing here in Charleston. And if you have an opportunity next year, I would encourage you around May to be looking for this race on usacycling.com. Just super great race, great guys. Got to know a lot of these guys, and just had fun racing all year, pushing each other, getting better. I learned a lot about crit racing. Went from having never done it before to actually enjoying myself, being able to enjoy myself out there doing some laps around the track, and so that was just a lot of fun. So yeah, look those guys up. Be looking for next year. The weather was great for the race. This section we're in here, just starting across the start-finish line, going into lap 2. We had a tailwind. It's just a simple, same course we've been on all year. 4-corner course. Going into turn 1 starts a downhill section, and from turn 1 into turn 2, which is a big wide sweeping turn, this is really downhill. So for me, I tend to really roll fast down this hill, and so part of my strategy has been trying to be able to take the corners where I don't have to use the brakes in that turn, and then also where I don't run up under the wheel of the guy in front of me when we get on this back straightaway. And now you can see that we're on the back straight. This is into a headwind, really strong headwind on this day, Tuesday. So that was interesting. And then turn 3 and turn 4 are kind of tight turns. You can see there's a little rough patch here on turn 4. I always still just run right over the thing and kind of cut that corner as short as possible. So that's kind of the layout of the track. The strategy I had for the day was basically to just kind of lay low, surf wheels, and conserve energy. I really think that the key, if I was going to have a chance to be successful in the race, it was going to have to be because I just conserved energy. One thing is this track is fairly short, and for me there's a lot of accelerating. Like I said, there's an uphill part of the track where because I'm heavier, I tend to burn a lot of watts going up that hill, and so there's a lot of accelerating and decelerating, and for somebody who weighs a lot, that can fatigue you pretty quickly. And so as opposed to just like long straightaways where you're just delivering steady power, it's these bursts of accelerations that really start to take the wind out of you. And so I'm trying to minimize that, and I tried to minimize that in a couple of ways. Number one was to make sure that I was staying in the draft. I had a tendency in some of the previous races to kind of drift out to the left or to the right of where everybody was riding so that I could see. I was really focused on staying in the draft and making sure that I was out of the wind as much as I possibly could be. And then the other part, you can see I'm letting a gap open up there, was just to not be so concerned about staying just right on the wheel of the guy that's in front of me, because it's okay to let a gap form. It's not the end of the world, and if you can close that gap down using 300 watts, why not do that instead of like closing it down instantly and burning 600 or 700 watts. So my focus was, hey, if gaps form, I'm going to close them down, but I'm going to close them down with like a reasonable amount of power. And I say that, one thing that has been surprising to me is how little I'm able to use my bike computer in these races. The speed is so fast, and there's so much going on around you that it's hard to even look down and see how fast you're going. You maybe glance and get an occasional look at your power, but at least for me in these races, I'm not fixed on my power meter. On my bike computer at all. I'm for the most part just trying to stay aware of what's going on around me, and you do what you have to do, but you can feel those kinds of things. And I'm basically am trying to just pedal smooth and not have any surges in power. Now right here you see one of the very few times where there was a move off the front, and the move goes off the front, and I'm just fine to let that go, because my experience in this race has shown me that, you know, that's not going to stick. And you can see what happens is everybody fills in, and so I'm just going to let the group fill in, and I pretty much just keep delivering trying to keep the same speed that I'm going. And then now I'm off the back, and so I'll just do a little bit of an effort to grab the back wheel. Really works out great, because I'm got all this draft in front of me again, and didn't really have to do a lot of work. And so now I'm on the downhill segment. You can see really I'm going faster than I need to, because I'm starting to pass the guy that's in front of me. So I like the way that plays out, and I'm going to try to use that to my advantage, use this downhill section to my advantage as much as I possibly can. On some of the previous races, what I found was when I'd come down the hill and I'd go into turn 2, I would be going so fast right here that I would end up having to hit my brakes. And essentially every time you hit those brakes on the course, you're just wasted energy. That's energy that could have gone into making your bike move faster forward, that you just burned up in heat in your brake pads. And so I just wanted to minimize using the brakes and try to plan for, you know, hey, if there's going to be areas where my bike's going to be going faster than everybody else, then, you know, let a gap form. It's not the end of the world. So for the most part, I think that went pretty well. One thing that's been pretty surprising to me is you take what's essentially the same core group of guys and you put them on the same track, and they do 4 races. You would think that those races kind of play out the same way. That has not been at all how this has worked out. Each race that we've had, even though it's been basically the same group of guys, could not be more different. If you go back and watch each one of these on YouTube, you'll see that there's just a completely different storyline for everyone. And really the storyline for this race was it's kind of slow, it was kind of boring, and I got sucked into to making a mistake, just basically because I was feeling so good. You can see we're on lap 7, and you know the pace is around 20 miles an hour. Some of the crits that we did, I think maybe the second one or the third one, we didn't see 20 miles an hour all day. It was, you know, it was between 25 and 30 for the most part all day long. And so that was certainly just a different kind of race. It was the kind of race where, you know, the guy on the front all day, as probably Josh, was on the front most of the race, and you'll see him just from time to time just like pulling over to the side. There he goes there, just waiting for somebody in the group to come around, and more often than not the group just continues to slow down, and nobody ever goes around the pool. So sorry Josh, we did leave you out there a lot, but you know, it's just the strategy. So fortunately for Josh, he's strong enough to just pull us around all day and beat us at the sprint. So hats off to him. What a great year he's had. So good job, Josh. But here, what I want to talk about, this is really where I lose the race. And we haven't had a preem lap. As we're approaching the start line here, they start calling for the preem. And I've got no interest in doing the preem, going for the preem at all. Hasn't even occurred to me until this moment right here. And for some reason, I don't know, my heart rate was fairly low. I was feeling good. I knew, you know, nobody was really going hard at it. And so I go from 0 watts here, and just in this split second, in this moment, I decide that I'm going to go for this preem. And for whatever reason, I went for it. I don't think it was, obviously was not a good idea, because it certainly did not work out. And here going down the hill, I just decided downhill segment, I'm going to lay down, you know, a big effort and hit this turn here at 28, and it's me and Josh going down the back stretch, 700 watts with wind in the face. And you can see Josh here moves up beside me. He's also going for the preem as well. I never even looked. I had no idea if we had a gap. I had no idea if anybody was going with me. I was just tearing it up, and I wanted to hit turn 3 and turn 4 really tight so that nobody could get on the inside of me. Josh, you can see he's not in the rear camera or the front camera. He's just to my left, and I've got 1100 watts with everything I got. And then right here, as we get to the start finish line, here comes Josh around, seemingly effortlessly passing me. Good job, and he got the preem. So I got nothing, and also my heart rate is now 186, which I've never seen before. And you know, it's okay. There's going to be 15 laps in the race, but really, what I felt like in this moment was, what did I do that for? I just, whatever energy I conserved the whole race, I just did a lap that averaged close to 600 watts, and you know, basically played out what was going to be my end of the race strategy for the preem lap that I didn't get. So, you know, just a huge mistake. That's what you call mental error. Should not have done that, and honestly, I would love to have seen how the race would have unfolded if I hadn't made that mistake. But all I can do now with 5 laps to go is, or really 4 laps to go at this point, is see how much I can recover from that before we get to the last lap here, and just try to get some kind of legs back and under me. So just really trailing behind Josh here, just taking advantage of the draft. Heart rate, you know, one of the things I've been working on my interval training is making sure that I can do these full out efforts, and then with minimal amount of rest, kind of just let my heart rate recover, and then go immediately after again. So just lots of really high intensity intervals. So my body's hopefully used to doing this kind of thing. You can see the heart rate's already coming back down to back where it was before that effort. So so that's good. I find myself on the front here, but if you notice, I'm only doing 17 miles an hour. Everybody knows what's coming, and nobody's going to want to be on the front. So if I'm going to be on the front, it's going to be doing very little work at 16 miles an hour. So that's how I'm pulling at this point. And really, we come around with 3 to go. That corner that we just went through there, turn 4, one of the things I did in the warm-up lap was I just took that turn, like I said, because I'm heavier. I was just noticing, like, if I just spin around that turn kind of easy, how much power can I take it at? And really, you know, about 400 watts was the best I could do. So that was sort of the target for going around the track in turn 4 up the hill, was to try to regulate the power to keep it around 400 watts. And I figured that would be something I could sustain throughout the race. So here, 3 to go, kind of in the middle of the pack. I noticed here Josh is on the front, and then I'm sorry I don't know this guy's name, but I know he's also from Myrtle Beach, and he's kind of looking over here at Josh, and Josh looks back at him. I thought maybe something was going to happen. Maybe they had something planned. So I just got over there behind him because I was wanting to be prepared to just take off, but nothing really ever came out of that, other than, you know, I felt like I took a pretty good line there on the front and have really good position. Now, into the race strategy for me as we come here to 2 to go, what I believe was going to be the key to winning the race was going to be for me to start the sprint here in turn 1. So on the last lap, if I could hit this point here and just go full gas down the hill, because I was going to have, you know, the downhill section plus laying down some serious power. My thought was, if I can get, you know, up to 30 miles an hour going into this turn 2, I would just sprint for all I was worth down this back stretch, and if I could be leading into turn 3 on the last lap, then in my mind, that's how I thought I would have the best chance of winning the race. And I think that's a great strategy. The only thing is, I'm still feeling pretty gassed from. Now here, you can see everybody takes these wide lines on turn 3 and turn 4. I move up from the back of the field because here there's 2 laps to go. I'm most concerned about my position on the track. I've lost a couple of these races strictly on the fact that I felt like I was just too far back. And so one of the things I wanted to do was make sure when we go into the last lap that I'm in a good position to be on the front. And I'm also not doing a ton of work. Like I said, we're going at a nice, manageable 19 mile an hour pace, so it's not like being here is costing a lot of energy. So as we come down, what I'm going to do on the last lap is I really want to, on this downhill section that I'm on now, is I really want to lay down a good effort into turn 2, and then just sprint for everything I've got down this final stretch. And in my mind, if I can lead going into turn 3, and I can take turn 3 and turn 4 like I did on the cream lap, take a really tight inside line, I think it's going to be hard for people to get around. So that was kind of my strategy. The only thing, and I think it's a good strategy, I just think that you gotta have the legs to execute the plan, and at this point I just I didn't have them for whatever reason. So here we come. I'm on the front. I feel pretty good about being on the front. I'm not doing a huge effort, and I know 90% of the people are going to go when we get to turn 2, and so I'm just going to beat them to the punch and start to accelerate here. And you'll see in the camera, you can't see anybody behind me because everybody's right on me. And I go to lay down this effort down the hill, and I got a little nervous right here because we were going so fast into this turn, and I had people, just all around me, and for whatever reason, I just hesitated there. But everybody just took off, and I had nothing left. So that was kind of the end of it there, last lap, and I really felt like I would have had a better chance of executing that had I not sort of took the bait on the cream. But hey, that's the name of the game. You live, you learn, and until next time, I'm going to be working on my fitness. Like I said, I'm about to race another course in just a couple of weeks. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in that, it'll be on a new track, and I'll finally get an opportunity to try this somewhere else, and it should be fun. So hey, I appreciate everybody for watching this year, and until next time, we'll talk to you then. Charleston Cycles.